Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers and sisters, Salamun Alaikum. I welcome you to this evening's program. This is the first Azadari program that we're holding. It's been given the name of Poetry Slam. You know, that's not our traditional name that we give our programs. But when you get the youth involved, you tend to get adjectives and descriptives that make sense to them. So this program is designed by the kids, for the kids. Some of them I don't even call kids anymore, but because the age difference between me and them, I'd still consider them kids. They're still young. But I'm going to invite you to come a little bit closer. We're going to have young people reciting. We're going to have older people reciting. But inshallah, the genesis of this is to help commemorate the martyrdom, the remembrance of our beloved Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the Ahl al-Bayt, and the people that were taken from their life and their livelihoods. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Sister Sukaina Mamdani and let her begin the program. And inshallah, bear with us if we have any coordination issues, but inshallah, we'll keep it to time. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I would like to begin our program first by thanking all of you for your attendance. Poetry sessions and reciting poetry is something that is a common occurrence, especially during the months of Muharram and Safar, and it's conducted in all languages because it's one of the primary ways that we can give bursa to the Ahl al-Bayt. There's something about reciting and hearing a poem that can evoke emotions from us, which other forms of eulogies just may not be able to do in the same way. And it's these emotions that we feel which keep our love for the Ahl al-Bayt alive, and in turn, it is that ongoing love that inshallah will motivate us to lead our lives in such a way that lives up to a reputation that precedes us, that lives up to the title of being a Shia of Ali. So with that in mind, we wanted to hold an event that would facilitate the importance of poetry, and more importantly, we wanted to encourage our youth to take part. Because I think more and more we find that it's important to encourage the newer generations to learn their own unique ways of giving bursa so that it's meaningful and it's personal to them in order not to fall into the trap of engaging in tradition that doesn't lead to further contemplation. That being said, I'd like to thank the volunteers for their hard work in putting this event together. And most importantly, I'd like to thank each and every participant for having the desire and motivation to write their own poetry, and also for the courage to share it with you all, because it takes a lot of courage, believe me. So if we can please get a loud salawat for all of our participants and their poems that you're about to hear. You can be a little louder than that. We're about to start Poetry Slam. Let's get some energy going. I also want to thank our MCs for volunteering, especially kind of at the last minute. With such short notice, we have Brother Muhammad in the men's, and our MCs for the sisters are Sister Falak and Sister Aliza. So with that, I'd like to hand the mic over to them right now to proceed with our event. So, Aliza and
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. There he is. There's Hussein, lying on the battlefield. The lion, son of Ali. Body is there, head is here. How can this be? Scattered are his sword and his shield. Already, it's too much to feel. The angels weep from the heavens above, and so do their forefathers of Rasulullah, giving their condolence to Fatima, Adam and Moses, Noah and Isa, Ismail and Ibrahim. And the earth trembles, the ground beneath our feet. Enshrouded in darkness are we, buried alive. The world's a grave, not under, but above, because of the lives lost on that sacred day. But don't open your eyes just yet, 'cause the story's not over. No, the scene's been only partially set.
For our first reciter, I would like to introduce Sister Sakina Rajani, who will be reciting a short poem. Please give a loud salawat for Sister Sakina.
The children all are Bismillah Rahman Rahim. The children all around me cry because their mouths are dry. Ammu Abbas went to get us water, but they made him into a martyr. Now our hands are held together by a chain. The enemies look down upon us with disdain. I miss my innocent little baby brother. I cannot wait to be reunited with my father. Salawat.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah, Sister Sakina. What a great way to start off the night for us. Okay, for our next reciter, I would like to introduce Sister Mansha. Mansha?
They can cut my arms and my legs. They can take everything that I have. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. I will come crawling to you, Hussein. Every day it cuts me inside. I'm so very far from your side. I would give away these eyes just to catch a glimpse of your shine. If I have to cross the seas and every desert in between, I will come crawling to you, Hussein. Salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali
Thank you, Sister Mansha. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts. Your name, Hussein, is so special in a world where nothing is as it seems. Your name, Hussein, is hope for those who have nothing left to dream. Your name, Hussein, is justice in a world full of oppression. Your name, Hussein, is the answer to every transgression. For our next poet, I would like to invite Brother Zahir Abbas to the podium with a loud salawat.
Ali Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Abbas, as I think of you on Arba'een, I think about my deen, and I can't believe what my Ahlul Bayt has seen. Ya Abbas, as I think of you as our Alamdar, I think about the strength placed in you by Hidayat Qarar. He named you Abbas, the Hashemite moon, to help Hussein in Karbala, so close to Namaz and noon. Your blood has blessed Karbala's land, a message of love that has taught the land sand. Ya Abbas, the power of your name brings bravery and hope to all. As your Zahir Abbas, I promise to be my best and keep your alam forever tall. Allahumma salawat.
Ali Muhammad.
MashaAllah, thank you, Zahir Abbas. If my legs fail me, I'll throw them away. Nothing will stop me from reaching Hussein walking. I want the world to see the flag I carry. Nothing will stop me from reaching Hussein walking. Against the earth's turn, millions return, and return walking. A revolution against oppression, what an uprising. Returning to him, the road salutes them, the skies envy them. The skies that flutter touch the hereafter, and by the Lord's throne, each of them are greeted. Next up to recite her poem is Sister Namal Rezwan.
Assalamu alaikum. I will be reciting a poem about the sword of Shimmer. And while I'm reciting this, I would like you guys to imagine Imam Hussein's last moments when Shimmer was just about to sever his head. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I bow my head in embarrassment and shame. As the time of Asr approaches, I wait in anticipation. Hussein has fallen to the ground, and it is that time. Who will step up to commit this awful crime? Every sword tries to ignore this reality, that one of us will be chosen to sever Hussein's head. One of us will be chosen to make Sakina an orphan. One of us will endure the greatest of pains. My heart begins to sink as Shimmer removes me from my case, and he slowly begins to advance towards my Imam. I try to turn away and escape from his grip, for I would rather lie on the burning sand. Oh Shimmer, why did you step up to this challenge? How can you kill the grandson of the Holy Prophet? Oh Shimmer, tell me if he has committed any injustice. Tell me, how can you kill this innocent man? As you get closer to Hussein, I see a heart-wrenching sight. Zainab is watching her brother from above a hilltop. I see the tents of the women and hear the children's cries. And all I wish was that I could be a comfort and solace to them. As you lift me to execute this wounded man, I close my eyes as I begin to cut and see blood perfect red. I wish to ask you why his throat was so dry. I wish to ask you why he was so withered and weak. As if all of this wasn't enough for one to see, I saw your army burn the tents of the women and children. I saw you taking all their possessions and snatching their headscarves. I saw a pair of earrings and strands of hair being pulled by a tyrant. Then you dragged me through the streets of Kufa and Sham, boasting to people about your transgressions. You proudly smiled, expecting your reward from Yazid, as you have brought the most precious jewel to his palace. But I don't see the glory that you see, and don't hear the celebrations that arise. Rather, I hear the rattling of chains and the cries of Sakina, the sermons of Zainab and the lamentations of Rabab, and the pain of our fourth Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin. O Bibi Zainab, I plead to you, I ask for your forgiveness, for I don't know how I will stand and show my face on that day. I don't know how I will face Bibi Zahra when she questions me, for there is nothing that can recompense for her pain. O Allah, I pray to you to cleanse me of this sin, by the right of the Imam's blood that was spilled in Karbala. I beg you for your mercy and kindness in forgiving me, and curse the one who used me against my master, Aba Abdullah. O Allah, I turn to you with nothing more than what my owner gave me. For had it been my choice, I would have surely been something else. For the weight of what I have done is so unbearable. And now I carry this burden forevermore. Salawat.
MashaAllah. Please give another loud salawat for Sister Namal. When it comes to Abu Fadl, my logic sways. Who else has no hands and yet for millions praise? When it comes to Abu Fadl, my logic sways. Who else has no hands and yet for millions praise? Go towards his blessed door, knock on it as a beggar. Go toward his blessed door and knock on it as a beggar. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. If Abbas sends back your wish, I'll close my pen forever. Next up, we have Brother Abbas Zaidi, who has prepared 2 poems for us tonight. Please invite Brother Abbas with a loud salawat.
Do you wonder why for Hussein our love is mad? That whenever he's in sorrow we're sad, whenever he's happy we're glad. The love of Hussein, Zainab's trail of pain, Sakina's hand in chains. This is why I love Hussein. The sky showed their loyalty with blood instead of rain. The earth shook with grief and horrible pain. After these horrific events, you would think one would die. But 35 years later, Sajjad will say, Asham, 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 then cry. Yazid, why did you do this? You took Zainab's chadar. You killed the Ahlul Bayt. Now you have a deadly fate. Hussein gave all he had for me. He attracted all. He set her free. He has the purest family tree. Hussein did not save Islam. Hussein saved humanity. He approached death happily and calm. I want to be a martyr to show my loyalty. If killers want to kill, we welcome death, because soon they don't know who we will meet. If they knew, they would beg for forgiveness, I bet. We will see Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, who will have open hands to greet. Could anyone ask for a better host? The one who prayed, fasted, and cared the most. All of this is because of Hussein. He truly did not die in vain. I love Hussein. I love Hussein. Hur was looking for peace. His heart and mind were having a race. He was in chains which he wanted to release. On that night, his feet as well as his mind paced. Hur saw light on one path and on the other hell. He knew which one would make his afterlife joyous and well. He realized he must go to the camp of Hussein to be a loyal companion like Zuhair ibn Kain. He put his sword and head on his master's feet, but Hussein picked him up, and then Abbas came with open hands to greet. He knew the camp of Yazid was a lie, a fraud, a cheat. He knew that soon Imam Ali he would meet. The next blood-filled day to go to the battlefield was all he prayed. But Hussein said he wouldn't give up his guest. He wouldn't give up his guest, the one who just joined the best. He had permission after the death of his son. He fought like no other one. Hur fell after many hits and many blows, but someone puts his head in their lap. They have a face that glows. He cries, for this is the face of his master. He tells the Imam, why did you take your time to come? I don't matter. But soon in his final breaths, the slow and peaceful moments of death, he reached his goal. Hur is free. Hur is free. Salawat.
40 days and counting. Karbala, we're coming. Walking because in our eyes he is priceless. Walking because anything else is worthless. Walking because in our eyes he is priceless. Walking because anything else is worthless. 40 days and counting. When to carry her child, she is unable. The mother pulls her son in a makeshift cradle. The old who can't walk as their legs are unstable find their wheelchairs pushed by all those capable. Both the rich and the poor walking to the same door. All one, he who is poor finds himself needless, walking because everything else is worthless.
Now I look forward to our next poet who has a piece of prose she would like to recite. I request Sister Rida Sayed to come to the podium. It's Samana. Come on up. Sorry, Sister Samana Sayed.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This poem I call Salams to my Mawla, Salams to my brother. Assalamu alaikum, Ya Mawla Hussein ibn Ali. Show me what you done on Ashura. You displayed such bravery. Such bravery even I couldn't compare. because you still fought after the wafat of Ali Asghar. Now Lady Zainab and Lady Rabab return to see the battlefield of the oppressive war. The battlefield where Sakina cried of thirst, but the cries are now heard no more. Lady Rabab looks desperately for Ali Asghar, looking for the grave of the youngest martyr. When she could not find him, wa askara, she cries for him. Lady Zainab was saddened when she saw her sons Muhammad and On, when she saw Akbar, Qasim, Hur, and Abbas, but she stayed strong and gave her salams. O Ali Akbar, my sons Muhammad and On, I still do not weep as the days go on, for your sacrifice has given me strength, not misery and weakness, but courage. O Qasim, your father is proud of you. You do not fear death, as it was sweeter than honey to you. Your mother is proud of you. She does not cry. Now she looks upon you with honor and pride. O Hur, you are an enemy, but you stood with my brother, free of infamy. Your name was your destiny. In this world you were free. In the next world you are free. O Abbas, my brother, you have fought bravely for Hussein. You fought bravely for Sakina, for Kulsum, for Islam, and for Allah. For our father Ali couldn't be prouder. For our brother Hassan couldn't be happier. My brother, Zainab cries, I have returned. I have remained strong for 40 days, but I still long to see you. Your Masuma Sakina, she's with you now in Jannah. Lady Zainab counted the days until she was free. She counted till the number 40. Lady Zainab was a hero, and now Lady Fatima couldn't be any prouder. Salawat.
Please recite aloud salawat. MashaAllah. Thank you, Sister Samana. Halman Nasir Yansurna, cried he with blood-stained palms. Only silence, only silence. Only silence in the wind did respond. Oh, we who claim to be so fond, where then is our reply to our beloved Imam? Oh, we who claim to be so fond, where then is our reply to our beloved Imam? Our next poet is Brother Raza, who will be reciting his poem entitled No Respite. Please try the light salawat.
Oh, Hussein, you must have felt so much pain when Sakina asked for water, but you couldn't provide anything for your thirsty daughter. Oh, Hussein, you knew that there would be no rain, so you asked Abbas to go to the Furat to try to get the thing that all the children sought. Oh, Abbas, you got to the river without any loss. At the river, you got Sakina's water first, but decided not to quench your own thirst. Oh, Abbas, on your way back, you tried to protect the water bag, but those cowards took your arms and all the water that you had. Oh, Abbas, you didn't want to return to the camp because you lost the water for Sakina and her friends. Oh, Hussein, these people took your friends and family. This would have driven anyone else to insanity. But Hussein, you did not fail to stand up for Islam, and because of your sacrifice, the truth has prevailed. Salawat.
O youth, hear me, my tragedy. When you mourn and remember, hear my story, hear my glory, and help me live forever. O youth, hear me, my tragedy. When you mourn and remember, hear my story, hear my glory, and help me live forever. Because on that day, my uncle taught me to live like Ali and die like Hussein. O youth, when you recall me, and for me you weep, the lessons of my story in your tears keep. I saw my uncle alone, and I wouldn't sleep. I tell you the tears that he shed, angels would weep. Now please welcome Sister Zara Rafjani to the podium with a loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. O Hussein, you gave your life in the way of Allah. O Hussein, your loved ones were martyred in Karbala. O Hussein, your 72 loved ones followed your steps and now take care of the heaven grounds. O Hussein, you heard the cries of your companions' last sounds. O Hussein, you last held Asghar in your hands when Harmala set the arrow and Asghar's voice drowned. O Hussein, when Abbas fell to the ground, Sakina's body was shaking around. O Hussein, your tragedies filled us with tears. O Hussein, we want to follow your footsteps, and so please let us hear Salawat.
MashaAllah, sister. Another loud salawat. Please introduce our next reciter, Sister Naila Ali. Salawat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A poem for Bibi Sakina alayhi salam. I saw my father's head laying on the ground. I saw my brother Akbar with blood he drowned. Where is Asghar? I cannot hear him cry, not even a sound. I saw my uncle Abbas, his head also laying on the ground. I saw my cousin Qasim with blood, his blood was surrounded. Then the enemy stole my earrings and chased me round and round. Now, I am Sakina, I am only 4, and water they still keep. Now I am in this jail, and it's so very deep. I have no tears, I am drained, I cannot even sleep. I remember the events in Karbala, and then I start to weep. Instead, they bring my father's head, I scream, and in my heart I start to wail. Oh Shias, don't forget my troubles. I am Sakina, I was only a child, and I died in this jail. Oh Sakina, your grief is too heavy for my heart. Lanat on you, Yazid, and labbaik to you, Ya Hussein. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa
They tell me that my love for him left faith in division. They tell me that my love for him left faith in division. I tell them that without this love, there would be no religion. Thank you for all for staying with us up until this point. We have just a couple more poets left, and next up is Brother Ali. And please recite a loud salawat as Brother Ali comes to the podium.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Qasim, son of Hassan, you fought bravely for a young one. On the plains of Karbala, your body lies in Hussein's Abba. When you asked to go and fight, your uncle rejected and furthered your plight. Your mother gave a letter to you, letting you do what you wanted to do. You represented your father on that day, and you did not go astray. As you rode out to the battle, your mother's heart shook like a rattle. The way you fought gave no qualms, but you were struck and called out your last salams. You died so bravely for Islam, and we will cherish your memory even though you're gone. O Qasim, son of Hassan, you fought bravely for a young one. Salawat.
Wa alay Muhammad.
These eyes of mine have seen enough. Our hardship has been so tough. Upon our necks, our hands are cuffed. I went through so much suffering and pain. I was dragged from street to street in chains, but my Shia, don't let my death be in vain. Keep alive the message of Hussein. Stand up against injustice and complain, be it in the UK, Iraq, or Bahrain. The time is now to stand strong and explain who are we and who is Hussein. For our final poet, I'd like to invite Sister Sakina up to the podium. Salawat.
One more salawat for all the poets who have recited so far. I can see the question in your eyes before the question even reaches your lips. Because you see, reflected in your eyes is the result of years upon years of lies. You think you know the truth, but really your truth is just what they tell you. And they have it down to an exact science, sharing only what befits their alliances. But you know, it doesn't even really matter what they tell you, because their main objective anyway is just to distract you. They blind you with flashing images, they drown you out with rhythmic beats and sounds, and don't worry about turning any pages. They'll just take all your books, even the holy ones, and put them in surround sound. I mean, we might as well just be living a real life Fahrenheit. So I can see why you have questions when you look at me. Because to you, I must be an anomaly. By the way you define freedom that distracts you so you can't even think for yourself, has you believing, oh, that poor girl enslaved because of their barbaric old-fashioned ways. So I know you want to ask your question. Go ahead. Why are you forced to wear that thing on your head? What'll happen if you don't? Or maybe you just want to know how in this day and age my practices still won't fade. Then again, maybe you just want to be sure I'm not one of those, those Muslims, the ones that are ISIS exposed. Well, listen, don't worry. Because I'm here to tell you I'm not a Muslim. Don't worry, I'm not a Muslim. No, I'm a Muslim, which means Islam is my deen. Now let me share with you what this means. I'm a Muslim, and this means my life revolves around my religion. After all, isn't religion meant to be a way of life, not just a ritual to be practiced on a Sunday, Saturday, or even Friday night? But in actuality, through every aspect of your day, religion should bleed, and this is what Islam teaches me when it says submission is my creed. So when you wonder why I wear this thing on my head, I'll tell you it's because every last detail, down to the way I dress, was decreed by a creator who cares more than the parent on how his creations fare. He told me how I present myself physically tells the rest of the world, pay attention to what I'm about internally. And when you ask me what'll happen if I don't, perhaps I'm scared of a father or brothers upon whom you think all the powers bestowed. I'll tell you, being a Muslim means you have no one to fear but the Almighty who holds you so dear. And you may not be able to comprehend why I worry if there's no punishment here. Telling you it's a sin sounds comical to your ears. But I'll tell you, it's because in their distractions I try not to get caught, and when I succeed in this, then it's obvious this life is nothing more than a farce. And this is at the heart of my cause because I'm a Muslim, which means Islam is my deen. Now let me continue to share with you what this means. I'm a Muslim. So when you inquire why in this day and age my practices still won't fade, I can't help but give a small smile. As I tell you, it's because of the 14 that I admire. I can tell you're curious who these 14 are, but beware, because once you learn about them, they're bound to convince you after all. They begin with our prophet and end with the Messiah, each one's life dedicated to spreading the message. And without them to show us the way, I guarantee at the first sign of trouble we'd sway. Because you see, when I said submission is my creed, I learned it from those who lived it with every fiber of their being. They are God's most precious creations, which meant they were tested beyond our wildest imaginations. Where else will you find every single generation of a family? Every single generation of a family willing to inherit the title of martyrs, content to sacrifice their lives and forego all stability. Forego all stability, not to absolve us of our sins, but to remind us of our accountability. So you see, when you ask me how in this day and age my practices still won't fade, I tell you, it's just plain impossible to live in blissful ignorance. When you understand our love for the 14 has made us this way, you'll see it makes perfect sense. You'll see it makes perfect sense now that I'm a Muslim, which means Islam is my deen. Yes, this is what it must mean. I'm a Muslim. Not to be confused with those so-called Muslims you asked if I had any connection with, like those that have got ISIS in their heads, or Al-Qaeda led, Taliban bred, and Saudi fed. They and their partners want to divide and conquer while we want to unite and prosper. They say salam with their tongues while we say peace be to you with our hearts. Their goal is to establish power while our goal is to establish justice. They treat their women as nothing more than cattle while we treat our women as capable individuals who matter. So when you ask if I have anything to do with those you see on the news, or when you question the rationality of the religion you see on the tube based on the agenda that they want to squeeze through, I know I have to help erase all the lies they fed you. So to answer your question, it's simple. I'm a Muslim, which means I've chosen Islam as my deen, and now I hope you understand what this means. Salat.
Nothing I can say can top that last one. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
I have one.
Yeah, one more poet?
Yeah.
Please, by all means.
This poem, the next poem I wrote during the first 10 days of Muharram this year. So for that reason, it refers to the day of Ashura drawing near, just to kind of put it in context. The poem explores the feelings that I felt, and probably we've all felt in Muharram, and if we're doing it right, throughout the rest of the year as well. And it searches for an answer to the question, why do we cry? So the poem is titled Reasons for My Tears. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and I see these cloaks of grief and despair, but I stare blindly through my own tears because I wonder, what do I feel? Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, what do I feel? Is it sympathy? Sympathy for Al-Witr al-Mawthur, the one who was all alone, persecuted, forced to witness one after one, each martyr returning to his rightful throne, the one who endured time after time, hearing that dreadful cry, upon you my last salams, O my beloved Imam. Upon you my last salams, O my beloved Imam, until there was no one left to defend, but still the littlest one, Hussein, did extend. The littlest one, Hussein, did extend, parched lips, dried tears. You soldiers have nothing to fear, the Imam did plead, knowing full well they would not heed. And in the end, once again, all alone was he. The youngest now sacrificed because those persecutors would not sympathize. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, so is it sympathy I feel? Or is it horror? Horror at the gravity of what was in store. Horror at the gravity of what was in store. Not a single soul given reprieve. In the most difficult ways they became shaheed. What you and I, visible atrocities, would define, they saw as so much farther. Their aim was so much higher because they weren't just any martyrs. No, they were the companions of Hussein, and no other companions were the same. They were the companions of Hussein, and no other companions were the same. What they saw as blessings would make any one of our hearts sink. Abu Fadl al-Abbas, Abu Fadl al-Abbas, just the idea makes the enemy tremble in fear. To hear the name they cannot bear, but now the flag bearer can no longer bear the water needed to quench the children's despair. His arms are severed. But where are the son of Hassans? That youth who never wavered because for him death was sweeter. His body trampled and battered to instill the horror for those monsters it mattered. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, is it just horror I feel? Or perhaps it's also fear. The fear that come to mind if you knew you were to leave your child behind. The fear that come to mind if you knew you were to leave your child behind, the way Hussein had to part ways with his daughter and Bibi Sakina had to say goodbye to her father. The way Hussein had to part ways with his daughter and Bibi Sakina had to say goodbye to her father, the strength that this man had given to so few, willing to sacrifice for the love of his Lord, his religion, and even his children, including you and I. I question if I were put in the same position, could I make the same decision? But I know I can guarantee the fear that would creep upon me. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, is it because I know I'd feel fear? Or is it anger? Anger at the injustice of it all. Anger at the injustice of it all, the fact that no one there would heed his call, and now there's so few here to listen to his story, pushed aside as if he was just astaghfirullah, another statistic to have died. The evolution of revolution began with this man. Right? The evolution of revolution began with this man, but those wretched beasts just left him there to rot in the hot desert sand. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, am I worthy of this righteous anger I feel? Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around and see the cloaks of grief and despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, our sympathy, horror, fear, and anger, the reasons for my tears? While this may be the case, what I've come to realize is the overriding feeling, the reason that I use my poetry to heal me, is the strong sense of shame reflected in my very eyes. And yes, it's shame at the fact that I might lack in conviction if put in the same situation as those precious 72. After all, I know my own level of deen is nowhere near even the same playing field as my own Imam's 313. But more so than that, the shame that I have, is it because my tears stay just that? But more so than that, the shame that I have, is it because my tears stay just that, confined to express only emotion but never dedicate beyond to all-consuming action? Confined to tears that express only emotion but never dedicate beyond to all-consuming action in preparation to establish a nation that has avenged the oppression of Karbala. So now it begs the question. Ya Aba Abdullah, as your day draws near, I look around, and now I clearly see the cloaks of grief and masks of despair, but blindly I stare through my own salted tears as I wonder, are my feelings sincere? Salah.
Salawat. Last night, during the English speech, some of your brothers were with us, and the speech that Maulana Shahid Hussain gave, it just melted my heart in terms of knowing the importance of poetry. Since a lot of you couldn't make it to the hall yesterday, and a lot of you attended the Urdu side of the program, I've asked Maulana to just recap again the importance of poetry, be it in Urdu, be it in Farsi, be it in Arabic, be it in English. be it young and old, does not matter. After listening to what he had to say, inshallah, this type of program will continue to stay here. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.